Yeah, you now tuned in to VMO Radio live and direct. I am Don Grizzle, and co-hosting with me tonight, I got my man James VMO, James Calhoun. Say something to the people, Mike.
Of course, man. Hey, I am James V.M.O. and always remember, we got the whole city behind us, all right? Yeah, man, we're gonna keep it light, keep it fresh, in for a great show tonight, man. Go ahead.
Exactly, man. We got a great show tonight. We got some very special guests in the building for VMO Radio. Like I say, man, live and direct. This interview is being brought to you and powered by you. You know what I'm saying? With the best you can possibly be, which is love. This show is, I'm telling you, stay tuned, folks. This is a great one. Well, let's get into the introduction of who we got on tonight's show on VMO Radio. Tonight, we got special guests. Showtime Productions is in the building. We're talking about CEOs. We're talking about writers, directors,
Mm,
producers. Oh,
this one.
yeah, preach on that, Tabernacle. Uh, with such stage plays and hits and TV film series such as What Lies Beneath. We're going to talk about it. A Cry Nobody Heard. We definitely going to talk about it. Complicated the series. Atlanta, New York. We're going to talk about it. Collateral Damage. And also coming together to create Creators Connect, where other talented people can come together and spread that love and spread that light of education. And we ain't going to forget about A Taste of Black Theater, giving the community something that they can taste. You understand me? We talking about something for us that we can get fly and come to and get a little taste of the soul of the community. And I mean, this one right here is big to me. We talking about somebody just dropped a book on Amazon. Soft Boy Hard World. I don't know if you've seen it, but you got to check it out. Kerrick Montonio in the building. We got Johnny Sizemore in the building. So, with that be further ado, yeah, I took my time on it. Maybe I was a little dramatic, but I got to set it up for the people that we got in the building tonight. Kerrick Montonio and Johnny Sizemore is live and direct on VMO Radio. What's
Yes,
going
what's
on,
going
fellas?
on? What's
Hey,
going
hey,
on?
hey, hey. What's going
Right,
on, guys? Thank y'all
right.
for having us.
Oh, I had to run that catalog down, man, just because, man. And hopefully I didn't miss nothing. And hopefully, y'all can catch me up if I did. But that's an extremely um, meaningful catalog of creation that I hope people can understand and realize what we're gonna get into tonight of creating that catalog of some of the inner workings of how you all really dove into it. So just take us from the start. We'll get into the catalog and the specifics of certain projects that y'all might want to talk about that we can talk about. But where did it start for Showtime's productions?
Go ahead, Kerry.
No, this is your story.
All right, so early on in 2016, I went to Kerrick one day and I was like, "Hey, let's do a play. Let's write a play." Never
2015.
So 2015, excuse me. Never had any experience, never had anything. I'll take you back in November the 22nd, 2012. I was robbed and shot in the chest 2 days before Thanksgiving. And from that, I had suffered PTSD bad for years. So I needed to find a coping mechanism that would help me alleviate some of the stress pressures, anxieties, and things that I was going with. And so I remember driving down 85, getting off the easily 153 exit, and I contemplated driving my car off of the bridge. And it was in that moment, I felt like I was around so many people, but I felt like nobody ever seen me. They didn't hear me. They couldn't understand, what I was dealing with. And so, from that, I said to Kid one day, "Hey, let's just write a play." That first play was entitled "A Cry Nobody Heard." It was a story based upon some of the feelings that I had, and we pulled from some other things. And it was only supposed to be a one-off. We were supposed to just do like a little one little thing and just going back to our music career, not knowing that the plan was so much bigger. God's plan was so much bigger than our just, hitting it and quitting it. We didn't know what to expect. We sold out two shows in one day, and it's been in a beautiful journey since then. 10 years doing this, and we just really getting started. So that's how I started.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then for me, like Johnny said, he came to me to write the play, or he said he wanted to do a play. But as I was younger in high school, I was a part of the Dwight Woods Phyllis Wheatley Repertory Theater. So I am a proud alumni of that particular theater company in the upstate. So I grew up singing, dancing, and performing. And then I also had taken a creative writing class in middle school, which is there's a very interesting story behind that as well. So I had experience with writing as well. So I'm just like, he want to do a play, let's do it. And so, we wrote that play together. And out of all of our catalogs, that was the first thing that we actually wrote together. Otherwise, I do the 99.9% of all the writing on all of our projects, with the exception of A Crown of Body Hurt and then our newest play that's coming out, Backbone. We wrote on that one together. But all the other projects I solely have written on. So, I write and then I give it to the mastermind and he puts it all together, and that's how we work.
Yeah, man.
Man, that's dope that that y'all have that dynamic of, what I'm saying, the strengths and is of what I'm saying. But I kind of wanted to go to like start of it of you saying, Johnny, like it was due, and I think that's why it's a good part to highlight. It was due to a kind of trauma response and how you was dealing with it, right?
Hmm.
That wind up you taking that and then transmuting the energy and sending it back out into the world for good, and it touching people and being the foundation that y'all started on. You know what I'm saying? Um, man, that that brother, I salute you. Because a lot of people would sit in it and
Hmm.
not realize that they could use it and transform it, not only to help themselves and how, like you said, you worked through it and dealt with it, but more importantly, help someone else with that gift that's been given unto you, right? And and one thing I want to highlight, and of course, I think Jane may have something he want to chime in with, um, but getting this off is, you know, like you mentioned so eloquently and lightly and politely that you were part of those writing schools, right, Kerrick? But one thing that me and you've had a sidebar conversation that I want the world to know, okay? Because I want people to take their time and listen to this and go back and replay it and listen in your mind what we're talking about tonight to really let it sink in, right? But from those experiences, as far as I know and what you've explained to me, was there any other professional, uh, things that you had to do to get solidified to be able to write these stories and write on every one of the projects you guys have done?
So you're saying like professionally, did I have to do something?
Yeah.
No, not necessarily professionally. I felt like, everything that I had, I put a lot of my experiences into my writing. And you never know how your experiences and the things that you've been through will, help somebody else, or identify with the things that you've been through. So for me, I learned just how to be expressive in that moment. I'll never forget my first experience writing was I used to write stories about my friends in middle school. I used to put my take spiral notebook papers and handwrite stories, and I would name the characters after all of my friends, and it would just be the most craziest thing. And I would write a chapter, sitting in one of my classes, and I put the paper together, staple it like it was a book, and then I would pass it around and let all my friends read it. And because, of course, because they were in it, they were interested and want to say, "Oh, well, what did I do? What I'm doing?" And
Yeah.
so, it became a thing. So I'm like, okay, everybody that we switching classes in middle school. They be like, "Hey, I got next period. I need to get that book. I need to get that book." I said, "Don't even worry about it, because by the next period, chapter two gonna be out." So now, what I'm saying, it just became
Mhm.
a thing for me. And so, growing up and realizing it, that this is actually something that I could make into a profession. It's not just something that I can do for fun. Is one of also the driving forces that I have, because at my age, I didn't realize what opportunities I could make for myself doing this. I'm just thinking I'm just messing around, just doing something. But now I realize that, the sky's the limit with this. And so I know that there's another me out there, another 12, 13, 14-year-old boy that's like, man, I want to write, and I want to be the example to show, like, hey, this is what you can do, and let's cultivate that now. So when you become a young adult, you already on the path to success with it.
Right. Well, and like James, I got you. But what I was highlighting was no mention of no formal training with this gift and everything that you did, and so everything
Dream life.
there
I
was
learned on my own.
on your own, and that's what makes it bigger to me, is because there are some things that are just inherently within us and coded in our DNA to do.
Mhm.
So I thank you, brother. I wanted you to highlight that, because when I heard that, when you told me that, like, you was like, "Yo, Uncle Mark, like, I ain't ever had no training, like, just this in high school and that, taking classes, but it developed, and how you told the story of how to develop. Man, it's just super dope. And I want people, so when they listen and they understand, or when they see y'all projects, and they see your writing, that's the place that it comes from. So James V.M.O., talk about it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. So my question is, I'm gonna change it up a little bit. So I really want to know this. What was the biggest sacrifice each of you had to make to turn your passion to a career?
Mm.
What was that moment where it was like, you know what? Let me put this to the side because I'm locked into my focus. What I gotta do next?
And you know what? And this is probably gonna surprise you guys, but Johnny, it may be a different answer for him, because he there was a catapult into this with music that he has. But for me, um, there hasn't been really a major sacrifice up until now. We've been in the game for 10 years. And this will shock a lot of people, but me and Johnny both still work full-time jobs.
Mhm.
Monday through Friday, we're on somebody's clock working. And then we do showtime all the time after 5 o'clock and
Yeah.
on the weekends. So in 10 years, we've managed to build what we built um in the spare time of us doing our 9 to 5 jobs.
Mhm.
So as of now, there's been a recent transition with my job, that they're outsourcing things. So I found myself, without one actually coming up in August. And but it's perfect timing in God's alignment, because now that's going
Mhm.
to allow me to really focus and build my dream and our vision for Showtime. And we just look at it like this: if we've managed to do the things that we've done with a 9 to 5, where are we going without that being a hindrance?
Yeah.
Man, talk about it.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
for me, yeah, I've done music majority of my life, and stepping into this entertainment spectrum, I made a decision to step away from that. I mean, most people that used to know me, oh, you do music, oh, you sing, you do music, and I kind of got tired of that. And I remember one day I was like, there's more to me than just this musicality side of things, and that's not my legacy. And I seen that, doing Showtime, doing this entertainment, the culture, and the arts, that I made more of an impact, and I've changed more lives outside of the four walls of the church than I ever did inside of it. So, the pivot was necessary for me.
Mm, okay.
This is for the audience. Just let me slide this in there, James. This is for the audience. We're all talking about the famous group One Accord.
Yes, go download the album on Apple Music right now.
Exactly. Go back, and I thought VMO Radio was going to get a sneak peek that there was some rumblings that there might be a re coming together, as they say.
Billion.
Maybe we can get another tour, or a couple of show dates out of. And
We'll see.
okay, that's
We'll
all I
see.
got, fellas. Hey,
We'll see.
hey, we tried. One
I don't
Accord.
want to make no promises I can't keep.
I got you. One Accord, but they can look it up. They can look it
What's up, man? That's what's up. Wow. After 10 years. Okay. Okay. All right, then. I got another question, Dan. Let me see if I can get to thinking a little bit. Okay. All right. So have you ever had to make a major creative, let's say you had a disagreement creatively? How did y'all work through it without hurting the partnership?
We have creative differences all the time.
Like every day, all day, every project.
Yes.
We it's all the time. But I think throughout the years we have just learned to lean more into each other's skill set depending on
Mhm.
what it is. So like if we're working on a film project and there's something going on with how it looks or how it whatever, I'll give my opinion, but at the end of the day, that's Johnny's lane. So his decision or whatever he thinks is probably going to trump what I feel. Now we can circle back now when it comes to a writing or a character development or the way the story is falling, where that's my lane, then he's gonna have to fall back. He can feel how he want to feel, but at the end of the day, my decision is going to trump that. So throughout the years, it's a struggle. We swerve a little bit, but for the most
Okay.
part, we try to stay in our own lanes.
Yeah, I remember in like our earlier years when we were writing A Crown Nobody Heard, I was so hell bent on a character's name. Oh my God, we went toe to toe
About
about
a
this.
name of a character, come on, bro.
really. It's that detail. It was.
Yes, yes, yes,
That
yes.
detail. But what's crazy, and of course, we went with my name because that's my thing. But at years later, we did a Christmas show, and I said, you know what, Johnny, let's go back and use that name that you wanted to
Absolutely.
use
It worked.
in a crowd nobody heard, and it worked perfectly. So that's we found simple ways like that to compromise.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, was that home for the holidays that you speaking
Home
about?
for the holidays, yes.
They can check out. Yeah, or that was a play.
hmm
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And we're circling back
Might
around
be
this
we might be
December.
bringing that back this year. So be on the lookout.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Okay. Gotta let them know. Let them know. Gotcha. Hey, Don Chris, you got a question for him?
Yeah, man. I got one, man. This is one I kind of wanted to know. With y'all giving a little bit more uh substance to how you guys really come together, how this movement happened. But was there anybody that y'all might have took inspiration from that inspired y'all in the way and in the style and in the signature that you all decided to do? Because you know what I'm saying? So y'all have so much production and creativity with everything you've done. There is a distinct signature that I think that that y'all set yourself apart from, of not trying to be like anybody in this area or anybody in the world in the film and TV and stage play industry. So, but was there any kind of people that you say, you know what, that inspired me, or could be whatever, actor, actress, but was there anybody that inspired the work that you guys do with Showtime Productions?
Yeah, so for me, early in the earlier time spans, Tyler Perry was one of our biggest inspirations. Not the Tyler Perry we see now. I'm talking about old school Tyler Perry from the
VHS tape.
late, yeah, the VHS tapes.
Oh, okay.
I remember I feel like I was probably one of the first people to come across the whole Tyler Perry VHS tapes years and years younger. I was at a barber shop and somebody had a bootleg copy of it, and nobody was checking for it was Medea's family reunion. I remember being in the ninth grade, sitting at home. I would watch that thing over and over and over, and I would share with everybody in my family. And then a couple years later, then it's like this whole Tyler Perry wave came through. And I think, early on we went that route of the Tyler Perry type styles. When we went into the film and television, Issa Rae, I love an underdog. I love somebody that comes from the bottom, who gets overlooked, appreciated, and they come out on top. Those are success stories that I love to follow. So we took on the Issa Rae approach with our television series, and then as we started to pivot into the more professional theater, August Wilson has probably been one of my biggest inspiration. You probably may not know his name, but you probably seen his work. I know y'all probably seen Fences with Viola Davis and Denzel Washington.
Oh
That is
yeah.
his. He's probably one of the greatest American playwrights of the world. He's the black version of Shakespeare. And so that's who I really lean into now, doing the whole professional theater company now. Our work has definitely shifted from the Tyler Perry type things to the more professional standards of stuff that you see on Broadway, on the Tony Awards, and things of that magnitude.
Yeah, and so for me, like it's definitely all of those people that he named, but it's like for me when it comes to writing, my style and I learned everything that I learned from watching soap operas.
Mm.
So I spent a lot of time at grandma's house, both of them. And so growing up, I watched a lot of soap operas, and so and to this day, I still watch soap operas. Like I'm locked into The Young and the Restless every day. It's recorded, and if I don't watch it that day, I'm going to get to it before the end of the week. If I'm gonna spend a whole Saturday catching up, I'm going to watch The Young and the Restless. But daytime soaps are probably the most detailed storytelling that you'll find because you think about it, the Victor Newmans and the Nikis, everybody's familiar with these characters and they've been around for 30, 40 plus years. How do you continue to write for somebody when you look back over that amount of years, you feel like you know this person?
Mm-hmm.
And anytime that you're watching a TV show, you're watching a stage play, you're watching a film, or whatever the case may be, you want to feel connected to characters like that. And so my writing style has always been like I want the audience to feel familiar with them. I want them to feel like they grew up with this character, or that's their sister, that's their uncle, that's their mama, that's their grandma. There's some type of representation
Mm-hmm.
that's real and authentic. And I learned that from watching soap operas.
Mm.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Got you. Do you like Beyond the Gates?
I love Beyond the Gates, and Beyond the Gates is so incredibly amazing to me. For one, because of what they're doing, being the first all black daytime soap opera since what
Mm-hmm.
the 90s. Generations was one, and I think that was on like in the early 90s. But in over 40 years, it's been the first predominantly black daytime soap opera, and
Mm-hmm.
they're doing an excellent job representing black people of success. They're not poor, they're not hood, like
Thank
they're
you.
very professional. They dress nice, they look nice. And if you watch it daily, you'll realize that they're touching on a lot of topics that directly impact the African American culture. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not just for entertainment, because you'll sit there and you'll look at it and you'll think you're watching for entertainment, but what they're really doing is educating you. Because right
Absolutely.
now they just did a storyline about diabetes. They just did a story about cancer, a specific cancer that affects African American women. And so, of course, what is their demographic watching that show? Is probably black women between the certain age that's impacted by this specific cancer. What better way to educate them than by creating storylines so they actually see a representation? And then, you know what? I need to go to my doctor. I need to go get checked out. And I think that is such a beautiful thing. If I had a dream gig right now, it would be to write for Beyond the Gates.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. I got a question. That y'all both, have done, been on the stage, been on the screens, so You're written for both the stage and the screen. What's the biggest difference between writing a play and writing a feature film?
Well, writing a play is, I'm in 10 years, I'm gonna be honest with you, I no longer really care for writing plays. Like
Oh,
I much more now enjoy writing film and television, but plays are our foundation. It will always be our foundation. But it's much different because with the play, you have to be very detailed because in film there's certain things that you can incorporate in the story that can just be shown.
Hmm.
Um, whereas on stage, you have to write down everything. Like in this moment, they have to travel to this side of the stage, and this has to be present, and they have to say this, and they have to do this, and then the lights have to come in, and then the sound effect has needs to happen here. So there's very specifics that you have to include, and you have to think about the overall picture of the story that you're telling with writing a play. Whereas in film, it's less of that because you're going to write the story, you're going to create and develop the characters, but for the most part, the actors are going to step in and tell the story through what you're seeing on film. That's my experience, Johnny. What you think? What you say?
I mean, my heart is in stage. That's why I think I was drawn into doing coming back out of retirement with the writing of this latest piece that we've done together. I'm taking it back to the roots. I think the roots is what launched us and sustained us for many years. I mean, I love film and television, um, but I feel that real real actors are born on stage. So yeah.
Yeah, real actors are born on stage. And
Mhm.
with that being said, gentlemen, I want to ask the catalog because the catalog is, you know what I'm saying? The catalog is very extensive. Is there one project out of the catalog that y'all look back on and say, don't get me wrong, they all your babies and you love them all the same, but is there one that either you enjoyed a little bit more, or you like the writing of it, the way it came together, the camaraderie on set, the actors you had in it? Is there any particular one out of the catalog that y'all think about or congruently say?
Well, I'm gonna say I love all of the projects that we've done. I think for me, ah, a Cry Nobody Heard and What Lies Beneath are probably the number they share the number one spot. For one, Cry Nobody Heard that's our baby. That's what we launched this thing with. And we've done that show now 8 times, and it sells out every time we've done that show. No matter how many times people have seen that, it is people say that's their number one show. But then with What Lies Beneath, it showed the level of versatility that we have as writers, producers, directors, and what we can do because they're totally night and day. Like I Caught Nobody Heard is more inspirational. It has a nice message to it. What Lies Beneath will kick you in the face. Like it is the most urban show that we have. It's so powerful. I'll give you an example. It's sitting at over 600,000 views on YouTube right now.
Wow,
So that's
number.
it, almost 700,000 views.
Let's talk numbers.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And even that
Yeah.
show too, I think that was the largest audience that we had when we produced the show. Like it was over 1,200 people that came out to see that one show
And that was the
at the
big,
Furman McAllister Auditorium.
that's the
So,
biggest. Yeah.
mhm. I
Outside
think if we,
outside of Cry Nobody Heard, this 2000.
last one, yeah.
Gosh.
okay.
Well,
Me?
Heard that.
I mean, but I don't know if Kerrick say? Did Kerrick say? Did you? I
Oh
want
yeah, I was trying to tap dance out of that one, because it's so hard. It's so hard. Like I love all of our projects for many different reasons. But yeah, like of course, Cry Nobody Heard and What Lies Beneath. Um, resonate with me, but for me, the TV shows, um,
Hmm.
Mm.
because for me, I'll go back to me, of course, growing up watching the Young and the Restless and the soap operas. I always wanted my own soap opera. I always wanted my own. And we were able to do that with Complicated, and then not only Complicated, but we created a spinoff of
Hmm.
Complicated Atlanta. And me and Johnny was having this conversation a couple of days ago, and it's just to say, you think about all of the franchise, like you look at what 50 Cent is doing with the Stars and the Power Universe, and
Hmm.
all the different franchises. And when you see amazing shows, and then you see like spin-offs are able to be created from those amazing shows, like that's how you leave a legacy. And
Hmm.
so for us to create our own very first TV show, Complicated, and to have the success that it had, enough for us to create and franchise independently our own TV
Yeah.
show, for Complicated Atlanta, like that was a huge accomplishment, and something that means the world to me, because you know a lot of people would depend on a studio or a huge sponsor, or somebody coming in and giving a whole bunch of money for to be able to do the things that we've done, and we've had nothing but faith and determination, to create our own television show and franchise it. So I think the TV shows Complicated and Complicated Atlanta, um, got my heart right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're featured on the platform Tubi. Am I correct? Where people can go and
Hmm.
dive into Complicated the series. You know,
Correct.
I,
Two seasons of Complicated, the original series, are showing, and the brand new season of Complicated Atlanta is currently streaming on Tubi right now. So you can go check them out.
Okay. Okay. All right. Because you said I got a question about Tubi. So, what has releasing your work on Tubi taught you about independent filmmaking and reaching like different audiences? Why was that the move and not another platform?
Say one more time for me.
Oh yeah, yeah, no problem. So we're talking about Tubi.
Hmm.
All right. So what was releasing your work on Tubi, taught you about independent filmmaking and reaching like a certain audience? Why was that the move and not like another platform?
Okay, so for us, Tubi, when we first went to Tubi, you really didn't hear much about streaming platforms or spaces for independent filmmakers to have, a space to put their projects out independently outside of YouTube. There was no major studios, no major networks that were taking independent. You had to be greenlit through a distribution company or through a network. And so Tubi, people down Tubi because during COVID, everybody was putting trash out there because Tubi is one of the highest paying AVOD, which is advertisement video on demand platforms that there is. So people were making $100,000 a quarter every 3 months, 200,000, just making great money. So they were just putting anything out there. And it's just like Fox, like with Fox. Fox owns Tubi,
mm,
and what I feel like they did was they took black content to grow their channel, their network, and then they started to pull back on those type of projects. And now you have major productions from HBO, Hulu, all networks now putting all their projects on Tubi
John
because
the
they're paying
Gates
the
is
most.
now streaming on Tubi.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
should tell you what it was. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Fox is notorious for this. Fox did this in the early 90s and 2000s. They built their network off black content, like In Living Color, Martin, and all of the sitcoms that
Mhm.
mean the world to us. They built their audiences off of our content. And then once they got that audience and the network, then they canceled all of our shows. So if you go
Mhm.
look on Fox now, you're not going to see too many predominantly black shows. But if you looking at the 90s, that was the home for all of our shows. So you got to ask yourself, like, well, what's the difference now? But and Tubi has now become that thing. They built the
Mhm.
platform off of black content creators, and now they've gotten it to where they want to. So now it's hard for it's even for us, like It took almost over a year. Complicated Atlanta we worked on for about 2 years. It took
Mhm.
almost half a year just to get it to go live on Tubi.
Mm, wow.
So it's become a lot more difficult than it was when we first started, and it's because they no longer are depending on the black content creators for the platform because they have all these other shows now, network shows, even like shows that are in syndication, that are running the bill up over at Tubi. So,
Mhm.
it's very hard for independent content creators like we are to stay relevant, to stay ahead of the game, to keep content in front of your audiences, to get it out to us. We have so many people that they cuss us out in our DMs, but it's like, y'all, we don't have no control over this.
Yeah,
We really
yeah.
don't.
Wow. Well, speaking to that, man, what about the business? And I'm talking about because it is an industry, it is a business that you do like, and what might be about that business that you don't necessarily like. Like if it comes to like what you said with these companies that have used black creative shows that, like you said, we all love and everything. So, and going into those rooms and things like that, and having to one, know a self value and a worth of yourself, and going in and who you want to be in partnership with and who you don't, because not only just on the Tubi scale of things, but as well as some of the local places that that y'all are in connection with, because I think y'all just opened up Showtime Studios, as well as, but some of these other venues and places that y'all do business with on the regular, where y'all are comfortable doing businesses with those businesses and exposing other businesses at the same time.
Yeah, so for me, you know, this industry, this industry is tough. It's a lot of spaces where people take advantage of, people who are serious about their crafts and serious about their work. And because we may not have all the knowledges, the tools, or the resources at our disposal to get on platforms, we're willing to take what we can get. And some of these distribution companies, they take advantage of vulnerable people. They don't provide accurate numbers. They give us whatever they want to. And that's one of the downsides that I found to this too, because, and it'd be your own people who will mess over you more so than anybody else. And it's a shame. Like, I mean, we've heard stories like from the Temptations to TLC, in the music industry, how these managers and executives will get people into these dead end deals, and that's the same thing into the entertainment spectrum as well. But I think the joy outside of all of that is being a place that provides opportunities for people who look like us, because there are a lot of people who did not realize they had the talent, the resources, and to give somebody the opportunity to shine bright. I think that's the win for me.
Kerrick, is there a part you love about the business? A part you just like, oh, I don't want to deal with these jokers.
Yeah, but I can't really say that there's not because I feel like you have to stick with it and be consistent. You have to love it, because there's so many ups and downs. And if you didn't love it, you would quit every day.
Mm,
Because at any point, especially on an independent level, because again, you don't have the backing of a studio. Everything that we do have come directly out of our pockets from us working hard during the day at our 9 to 5s and then taking that paycheck and trying to make our dream work. So when something goes wrong or there's an unexpected bill, I can't call the studio and be like, "Hey, can y'all send us a couple of thousand? We got to take care of this color. We got to pay the DP. We got to pay for this location to film here real quick. Can y'all cut us a check? We got to figure it out." And so that that can be difficult at times, but I would never say that I dislike it, because at the end of the day, you appreciate more what you work hard for. So when we get to the end result, when we're at the premieres, and we can sit back and look at our screen, look at our work on the big screen, knowing all the sacrifices and the late nights and the early mornings, the financial
Mhm.
burdens that we had to take on for this to be the finished product, and you look back and you're like, you know what, it was all worth it.
Mm.
Dutch.
Powerful. That's real powerful. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Let's try to lighten it up a little bit. I'm
Okay.
curious about this. So let's go behind the scenes. So, what's one unforgettable or funny moment that happened during filming that viewers, really never knew about?
It's so many things.
The
Uh,
reels or bloopers. Cut
Like
out.
I think the funniest thing, and I think when we finally get to where we're going, when we got like our own studio, Tyler Perry and things like that, I think the most we'll look back on is how many places we got kicked out of.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
a lot of times, we just like, let's just pull the camera out real quick. Let's go on and shoot this scene, and try to see what we can get done before, hey, what are you guys doing? You're not supposed to be here. Where's your permit? And the police showing up, like, yeah, all of that is
All of that, and even being in a restaurant filming, and then one of the managers didn't talk to the other managers, and so now they have a problem. And we have actors from LA, Atlanta. We got Atlanta cinematographers, and like we wasted hours, and then they tell us, well, y'all can come back at midnight. Then we come back, and they say, oh, you can't use it. Like it's been a lot of stuff like
Mm.
that.
and we've wasted money on flights and hotels and paying the actors and the videographers and stuff to do a job that now we can't do because we don't have a location. So
Mhm.
many days of that. And that just goes back to what I say. You gotta love it. You gotta love doing this because anybody else will be like, I just lost this money in a couple of hours. Yeah, I'm done. I'm good on it.
Yep.
Mm.
Just like
Straight like that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody sees the glitz and glamour of this thing, but they don't see how much hard work that goes into it. You have to deal with people with multiple personalities, people who are crazy as hell. I don't know if I can say that on this podcast or not, but I'm gonna say
let it
it.
out. Let it out.
Um,
Talk about
yeah, you have to put out so many fires that you did not start. You have to deal with so many egos and things of that magnitude. People putting out false narratives. It's not for the weak at heart, for the faint at heart. You know, we've been extorted for $20,000 for footage that we could not use. Like I don't know if you guys noticed, no, but Complicated had to be shot twice. Like
it.
we filmed the whole first season, and then the DP was like, "Hey, if you want your footage, pay me $20,000." The day he said that, the next day we were preparing to do the whole reshoot, and what you guys now see of season one is completely reshot. Uh,
Wow.
Going from that with Complicated Atlanta, we put out 3 episodes with a group of cast members. Some of them got booked on BMF. Another person got booked on Beauty in Black, and so they could not continue doing the series. And so we had to go back and reshoot the first 3 episodes along with the next 6 episodes. So yeah, like when people say like we're new to this, no, we true to this. Like we love this. And if you don't have a love and a passion for this, things that you endure in this process will make you want to go quit and say, forget all this, I'll never do it again.
Mm.
Man, that that is insane that, basically what you describing, if I understand correctly, the DSP was trying to basically extort y'all for y'all footage and come up with some money. So, like you said, this is some of the underground dark stuff that a lot of people don't see. They get the finished product of what you do, but like pouring and investing in yourselves as well as, taking the bumps and the bruises and learning along the way of how to do business and become businessmen, you know what I'm saying, in a a cutthroat world. But one thing I want to think about, and we probably got just a little bit more time with you guys because we definitely want to be able to go live with you. I know we might even have to do a part two interview or conversation because I know James probably got more questions. I got more questions, but I know we're running out of time, so we definitely want to thank you guys. But one of the few things before we get out of here, because we ain't gonna just cut it short. We're gonna talk about it. This is VMO Radio live and directed. We got Showtime Productions in the air. Okay. Like we got Showtime Productions, the producers, the writers, the CEOs. Um, but I'm gonna do a two question. One, and speaking about the business in that light of it, some of the people behind the scenes, because I think you guys have a really, really great team that you guys have built, and I know you guys are the face of the franchise, and y'all more out front and represent the companies that y'all have. But if you could speak about some of the people behind the scenes that y'all love or want to show love to, that's what I'm saying, really really kind of help support a lot of going through these things, because you got to have people in the trenches with you that's willing to understand. Hey, look, I had to shift to pay this. You gonna have to hold on, but I still need you to show up, and I still need you to do your job. Like, can you talk about those people a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. We have a great, an amazing like team overall, and then we have like a core team that consists of four people. And they handle any and everything, and wherever there's a need, that's where they jump in and fit. And anybody who has mentored us or just not necessarily mentored, but just kind of, hey, so let me give you guys some advice. They always say, stay as small as you can for as long as you can. And so we've been able to operate with a very small crew, and that requires us putting on multiple hats, but it has worked, and I'm just grateful that God has and he continues to place people around us that are like-minded with how we think. They take the vision and they run with it as if it's their own, and you can't find that everywhere. So I am truly grateful for the people that work with us, because we can't do it by ourselves, definitely.
Hmm. Yeah, I think our core team. I didn't understand that philosophy of stay as small as you can for as long as you can until now. And the higher you go, the less people that can go with you. And I think that was a hard thing for me to really take on too, because I wanted to take everybody with us where we were going. But sometimes it's dead weight, boss. It'll keep you stuck in a place. And just because I'm headed to New York and you're headed to LA, don't mean we have an issue with one another or dislike one another. It just means we're headed in two different directions. So I'm super thankful for those that are surrounding us who carry the vision, they hear the vision, they run with the vision, and they're making the vision plain. So that's our core team. And then some of our other people who are part of our Showtime Legacy Collective, they make this thing go round. And I'm super excited about what the future holds. I'm telling you, when you get people who rock with you 1000% and hold you down, you can't pass them if you can't let them go. So, yeah, absolutely.
Dutch. That's what I'm talking about.
It's like that.
Make the
Actually, I feel that passion too. So, like, ain't nothing wrong with that. All right. Let me see. Let me see. All right. Let's change it up a little bit again. So, if someone handed you an unlimited budget tomorrow, what story would you tell and why?
So if we talking about the unlimited budget, the first thing we probably are gonna do is build our own facility,
Hmm.
which will be an
Okay.
in-house theater, which will be a studio, for a theater for us to have our live shows on. It would include a sound stage for us to do our film projects on, a rehearsal space, an event space. So before any project, I think we would put out, it would be getting securing our own
Hmm.
facility.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that too. Now, if, get the facility out. And I would turn our current play that we're getting ready to do, Backbone, into our very first feature film because it's amazing. It is amazing. It's amazing, and it's our very first period piece. It's our first of many. So yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about that. The upcoming projects you guys got working right now.
All right,
And
so Showtime Legacy Theater, we are debuting. We're launching our very first inaugural season, which is called the season of Inheritance and Identity. We're opening the season with a brand new show called Backbone. It's our very first period piece. It's set in 1995 in Memphis, Tennessee, inside of a decaying automobile garage, and it's a story about a family that is battling over what they consider to be legacy. And you have outsiders who are doing all they can to come in and take what belongs to this family. And they have to unite, even in the face of adversity and infighting, when a secret erupts from their family that threatens to destroy everything that they thought that was. It's a beautiful story about family, about love, about what do you do when you are facing truths, and what are you willing to do to preserve legacy and fight for what's really yours. So we open the season with that. And then we're jumping into our holiday show, Home for the Holidays, which is a musical comedy that we did back in 2020. It's going to be a revival of that. It's going to be an amazing show. It's bringing people back together during the Christmas holiday. People lose loved ones, and so people need something that picks them up, something that gives them a little hope and inspiration. So that's what we're doing there. And then in February, we're doing our legacy show called The Piano Lesson by August Wilson. And then we're closing the show out with a comedy, Jaja's African Hair Braiding, and a music review called Night of Legends. It's a tribute to Prince, Whitney Houston, Luther Vandross, and Shaka Khan. It is going to be absolutely incredible.
the greats. Now when is that going down?
That we're gonna close the season out in May
In
with that
May.
show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, slide in there real quick. Promote. I do have my signed copy, A Soft Boy in a Hard World, written by author as well as all the other titles. And like he said, he got Kerrick Montonio. So before we get up out of here, man, I've been reading some of the book, and I was gonna ask, but I understand. I don't know if I got that classification. I know I'm up, but I don't know if I got G classification that I could actually read some of the book to the folks. But and I was just gonna do just the first few pages of it that had already grabbed me. But Kerrick Montonio, can you speak about you becoming an author and having your first book, you know what I'm saying, being sold on Amazon right now? Y'all can go get it. You understand me? Go get it. Get you a hard physical copy of this. This is great stuff. Can you speak about that before we get up out of here? You becoming an author this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this goes back to me saying, when I was in middle school and I'm putting my spiral notebook together with my handwritten notes, making my books. That's how far my dream of writing my own book goes. And so, even with us doing theater and doing the television shows, I always was like, I haven't done my book. I haven't done my book. And the book, Soft Boy Hard World, started off as another series. Like I've written 6 episodes but I wrote that before I went back and wrote the book. And in the middle of me doing that, I'm just like, this is good, but I want a book. I want to do a book. And so I went back and I wrote the book. And Sophomore Hard World is a novel. It's about three characters, Kelvin, Tyrell, and Shamika. They're three friends and they're in high school. So the book is based in the early 2000s. So it's like an ode to some of my favorite times growing up. So you'll get some good flashbacks of the music and the TV shows that we were into back then because it was just a great time for me. But the story talks about the different hardships that all three of these characters go through, but specifically the heart of the story is, just kind of putting a little question mark around the societal pressures that we as a society put on masculinity. Because and I told this story at my release, like with my dad. And people who don't know my dad when he was growing up, when I was growing up, all I heard about was my dad being a basketball legend in these streets. Like, he was the upstate's Michael Jordan. And so of course, being his firstborn, when people see me, the first thing they ask is, "Oh, you play ball like your dad, you ball like your dad. What team you play for?
Mhm.
How many points you score?" And this and that. I'm like, I don't play. I'm not interested in basketball in the least. And growing up, people would always recognize me and ask me that. And then my response to them was like, well, no, I don't really play. I don't do basketball. I would literally see the disappointment in their face because they know my dad. And so immediately they have this expectation of me to be who they think I'm supposed to be based upon knowing who my dad was. And so that instilled a lot of insecurities in me because I'm just like, well, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with who I am? What's wrong with me? I'm not really into sports, but I like music and I like the arts and I like this. Um, and then coming up, the world will tell you, well, that's soft. You're a dude. You supposed to play sports. You supposed to know how to fight, and you supposed to do this, and you're not supposed to show your emotions, and things
Mhm.
like that. So at the heart of the story, you see all of these characters going through these different things that the world would deem as they're interested in the arts and things like that, but the world would call it soft. But the things that they experience at a young age, only a strong person that's not soft will be able to survive a lot of the things that's discussed in this book. And so that's what it's about. It's a great read. It's super personal to me, but yes, it is available on Amazon right now. And if you don't have your copy, you need to go get it right now.
It is absolutely incredible. I just remember the process of him writing it. As I'm reading it, I'm like, wow. Like, I think Kerrick is one of the most incredible architects when it comes to his penmanship, the way he can articulate and putting stories together to making them make sense, to make them you feel and lean into the characters. And I think as an author with this book, like he had a masterful way of painting the picture to making you see this in real time. I told him I feel like I was watching the movie, reading this book, and it's a book that everybody needs to read. There's something for everybody inside of this book, and I'm telling you, it's gonna be a bestseller. I can't wait to see what happens as a result of the hard work and dedication that characters put into his authorship with this book and things of that magnitude.
Thank you, John.
All right.
What's up? What's up? You got that Unk story coming up next, or where that's at?
Uh, try to wrap this thing up, man. So yeah, man. Man, I really grateful and honor, man. It's a privilege to kind of have a full circle moment and sit down and, all the time, we come in, hey, Kerrick, y'all on the show and both of y'all say, hey, man, we there, to our credit and being so available and allowing this time VMO radio for y'all to come and be here. Knowing that y'all got busy stuff going on, so we definitely appreciate it, and we're gonna slide on over to the live after we finish this interview. But before we get out of here, I gotta say, and while I say it's a full circle moment for me, as your Uncle Kerrick, you know what I mean? This is a story that, as you tell stories, this is a story that we lived and one that I've told on the show before, actually. Having you on the show, it'd be special to tell the story because, like a lot of stuff that you all have alluded to tonight and in talking and we have in conversation that certain things are intentional, but a lot of times it's bigger, it's far bigger than who we are as people or the things that
Mhm.
happen to us. It's actually bigger in life for the overall masterpiece of life, right?
Mhm.
And so a lot of people know, like, Kerrick made me an uncle at 11 years old,
Oh
right?
wow.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? His um, his mom and his dad, who like he said, were uh, a big name in basketball and Burns, his dad Derek, and his mom Kiva, at Greer and playing different sports and everything. But yes, so I became an uncle at 11, and I really took it to heart. And and so like, you know what I'm saying? Like when his mom brought him home, and a lot of times, for whatever reason, you know, they would have him kind of like more closer to the living room. And, my mom and my sister, his mom, they stayed in the room, and then I stayed in the room. But for whatever reason, like in the middle of the night, when Kerrick would, be crying, and I know he needed his bottle, you know what I'm saying? They would just let him cry. And even as a kid, I'm serious, they would just let you cry, dog. You would just be in there screaming in the dark, you feel me? And I would be in my bed like, man, why won't y'all get up and give him the bottle? Like, I want the milk. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of times, so it started with that. But this one day in particular, and the story that I want to tell about how it's bigger, right? And listening to that voice is my little routine was I come home and, and generally, watch Kerrick before his mom got ready to go to work at a Capri's Italian. And so in this one day in particular, that's what's going on. I get out of school, I cut on the cartoons, and generally I would kind of always hold Kerrick or have him laying on my chest while we watch cartoons and go to sleep or whatever, right? And his mom would go into work, and then my mom would come home and take over shift or whatever. So this one day in particular, Kerrick is laying on my chest and watching cartoons and everything, and then he has like whatever reason, like I just noticed it at 11 that, okay, any baby, any kid would drool, whatever, right? But this is a real strong drool. Like my front shirt is soaking wet, like
Yeah.
completely soaked. And something spoke to me and said, man, I don't think this is right. Something is not right. And so I went and got his mom. His mom was getting ready for work. She panicking, what's going on with my baby? You know what I'm saying? And she had a 1984 beige Ford Mustang that she was a straight drive. And she crying, frantic, trying to drive and get him to the hospital. And we get him to the hospital, get him checked out. The long or the short of it is, of course, as you see, thank God and all his blessings that he's here. You know what I'm saying? But the thing with that was I remember, them explaining, to your mom, and your mom explaining to my mom and me hearing it or whatever, that if we didn't get to the hospital at a certain time, because Kerrick was having a seizure and he could have went brain dead. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what was going on. And so by us getting into, his mom driving, we get into the hospital. And I'm not telling that story for any kind of self-glorification. I'm telling it because, like, everything that you've done in your life since then, right? The calling and the blessing that is on your life that's bigger, right? Of course, than that moment. But for you to be here going through the midst of that and everything that you inject and y'all inject into y'all company and y'all give to the world for us to digest. That's why it's special and it's important to me to anytime Showtime Productions is got something going on, you got something going on, that I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Not just as an uncle, but also somebody that want to support, the cause and the movement. But from that story, always remembering like, man, thank you, God, that whatever you spoke to me and for that to happen. And I just look at everything. And that's why, like you was talking about earlier, as far as, when y'all started out singing in one accord, I never told y'all this, but it was one moment. We was at Bethlehem. And I think because Mama T was there, your mom was there, your brothers were there, everybody was there. And it was one of the first times y'all was singing. And man, I just remember seeing, what I'm saying, Johnny doing what he do with the choir and everything, seeing you sing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember seeing that, sitting in the back, and I was like, man, not only is this something that they glorifying God with, but this is something that they love to do. So thank y'all for showing up. Thank y'all for being here. And anytime y'all got anything y'all want to promote on the platform or want to come on with us, because we're about to move it over to the live and everything like that, man, just let us know. But it's been a great night. It's been a great show. We thank y'all.
Absolutely.
And if there's anything else y'all want to promote as we get out.
Yeah, I think I'm covered, Johnny. What you got?
Yeah, this make sure you guys go subscribe to our YouTube channel, Showtime Productions TV. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, Showtime Legacy Theater on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X. Yeah.